Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing today? My name is Dwayne, and you're listening live to the Christian Connection. Um, Today we have a very unique broadcast for you all. We're going to be talking about hip hop and theology. I know it's been a highly requested topic that we talk about, so we're going to get started on that. And we have a question from James from New York, and he asked this simple question: What is hip hop? Well, James, to answer your question, hip hop is a unique style of music, in my opinion, which began in the 1970s and has evolved from then until now. It, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, common styles of music that we have today in America. For example, we have people like Run DMC, we have Public Enemy, and to me, hip hop is a way in which people are allowed to express themselves. Oftentimes, African Americans, before we had the opportunity to express ourselves in music, we expressed ourselves through poems, through dancing, through writing, and all that good stuff. So to actually take what we feel and to put it into music, I think, quite frankly, that is probably one of the best ways that we can express ourselves. Now, James, the hip hop has changed from the 70s to now. And I say that because when we listen to hip hop now, it's, in my opinion, is going crazy. Because back in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, and we can say the late 90s too, they rapped about issues that were happening in the African American community. There are so many problems that were happening, and the way in which that they could express how they felt during that time period with the music was dynamic. But then when we look at it now, it's as if the music has went totally left. They rap about women and how they degrade women. That's not what I had thought hip hop would have evolved to. So as I said earlier, I do think hip hop is one of the best ways that we expressed ourselves as African Americans. I think that there's a better way that we could do it now. So James from New York, I really do hope that I answered your question, and yeah, that to me is what hip hop is, and I hope that answer helped you out, James. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. I have some more questions. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Christian Connection. It's your boy Dwayne, and we now have a new topic. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say a new topic, but we have another question, which kind of throws us a curve a little bit because I wasn't really kind of expecting this question, but we're going to answer to the best of our ability today. So, Sarah from Nevada asks, "How can we relate hip hop music and the church?" And first, I want to say, Sarah, thank you for your question, and I hope you're listening in. I want to thank you for listening to us every week. I got your email saying how you loved our show, so I want to thank you for that, Sarah. Now, to answer your question, Sarah, that is a very, very good question. And I say that because hip hop and the church could be connected in so many ways. As I was answering James's question, and during the last segment, back then, again, in the 70s and 80s and 90s, they rapped about real issues. And during that time period, the issues that they rapped about was the same issues that African Americans were facing. And one of the ways in which African Americans dealt with their problems was going to church. I can recall many times with my grandmother, who was born in the 50s, but was very, very, very active in church around that times. And she used to always tell me that whenever there was a problem in the community or in the city or sometimes even the whole county or the state, the black church would get together and they would discuss the issues that they were having. But when I asked my mother the same question, who grew up in that same time period, she would say, well, I felt as if the church was doing something, but they didn't relate to me. You know, my mother could listen to her music and be like, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what we're going through as young people. And I don't think the older generation understands. So, Sarah, to answer your question about how can we relate hip hop in the church, I think it has to deal with a healthy balance. Because now we do have ways in which people do rap and have gospel rap. But I think it's more so of the church has to be willing to accept it. Because oftentimes the church can be stuck in its traditional ways that they don't want to hear that there's issues going on, but they don't want to hear it from a different way. They only want to hear it from a certain way. And me personally, as a young minister, I think it is very important that we have different ways of people to be able to express themselves. And I believe that's one of the reasons why the young people are moving away from the church is because they don't have a way in which they can express themselves and one of the ways they express themselves is through hip hop. So I think if we find the right people to express themselves using hip hop without doing as I said with James earlier, degrading women and degrading the African American community and such, I believe that then there's a way in which we can connect hip hop, the young people, the older generation, and the church to where hip hop in the church could go even further than what we think it will go. Because I think personally that if we get hip hop and the church together, there is so many things that we can accomplish that it's just like ridiculous. So, hey Sarah, I hope I answered your question to the best of my ability. And again, like I said, hip hop in the church can do so many wonderful things. It's just, are we willing to put our traditional ways aside, and are we willing to step out on faith and use hip hop to connect with those people, with the younger generation, to help make our world a better place? Thank you for your question, Sarah. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we do come back, I have a personal, heartfelt message that I want to give out. And after that, we'll see you guys next week, where we're going to be talking about gospel music in the church. And not all gospel music is good gospel music. Y'all stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back to Christian Connection. It's your boy Dwayne. I want to close this segment out with a heartfelt message. I've taken a class called Hip Hop Theology, where I'm currently a student at American Baptist College. And I just want to say how the class has really impacted me. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to sit here and make up the story. I didn't do what I wanted to do in the class. I felt that I should have pushed myself harder to participate in the class even more, because when I went back and when I looked at the different forum posts and stuff, I was like, wow, I missed out on this great conversation. So I do want to apologize for that. But from what I did gather from the work that I did do, I want to say that the class Hip Hop Theology has blown my mind. Because I never would have thought that hip hop was the way it was. Growing up in my household, it's a total of 13 of us. I have 12 other siblings. And so I used to always say, hey, you listening to hip hop is wrong. It's bad. It's not good. You need to be like me. You need to listen to gospel music 24/7. But once I really got to myself, and I really opened up, I realized that in some hip hop music, they were actually rapping about a cause or about a specific issue. And as a young minister, people always say, Daryl, oh, hey man, you're young, you're doing it, I can relate to you. But then when people would tell me that, I used to think in my head, well, how can I relate to you? I don't even listen to the music that you listen to. So how do I know the full-blown issues that your community is having if I'm not willing to stick myself in your shoes. You know, that you know what's going on. I may know of somewhat what's going on, but I want to know more, so that way if you can say you trust me, I want you to be able to trust me fully. Because having that level of trust can go a long way. And so once I was able to step back and realize that, I started listening to some hip hop and I started getting into it. I was like, wow, okay, they're really rapping about real issues. And then as I got further and further and deeper into it, I'm like, okay, wow, I've done missed out on, I'm 20 now, so I done missed out on 17 years, because for the first 17 years of my life, all I listened to was straight gospel music. So I missed out on 17 years of music about issues that are happening in my community that I've gone oblivious to. So I want to say that the class Hip Hop Theology has really helped me shape my way of thinking. It's opened my eyes to certain issues that I didn't know was going on in my community, simply through the music that people was rapping about. So in conclusion, I want to say that the class was very helpful. It was very thoughtful, and I wish that I would have applied myself even more to this class. And I will be coming to you, Professor Triple, to ask more questions in the future about hip hop and theology and how we can relate the two. So yeah, that's my take. I hope you guys had a wonderful segment here with us on Christian Connection. I cannot wait until next week when we go live for the first time ever, talking about hip hop and theology. And you know, maybe we can bring in some special guests, y'all. Hopefully, I have my fingers crossed. We've been talking to some artists, so hopefully some artists will come in and give their take about hip hop, and we even have some people from the church. We're gonna have a live panel, guys. So listen, I hope you guys will be able to come in and tune in next week with us. And hey, I can't wait to see you guys back on Christian Connection. Alrighty, guys, you all be blessed, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.